Since it really doesn't matter what I put up on YouTube, let's do this. This video is about preconceived notions and how they can lead you astray. And of course, it's about the old Z. And my mistake, my bad, my preconceived notion that cost me time, money, and the freedom to do what I wanted with this car. These are great engines, but they're not perfect. Over time, because the timing chain is so long, it puts undue stress on the timing chain tensioner and they'll start making noise. It's kind of a little growling sound. And the old Z started making a little bit of noise and it sounded like a little growl. And I assumed, because of my preconceived notion, that that was the problem. Turns out that was not the problem. This was the problem. Even though a reputable shop that I have dealt with in the past built this engine, somebody somewhere along the line forgot to tighten up the harmonic balancer as tight as it should have been tightened up. And because it was built at a shop that I've dealt with before, and I know these guys know what they're doing, I assumed that this was not the problem. Because had it just been a normal whatever, me running across in the world, or even me buying it and having this happen without knowing that it was built where it was built at, I would have considered this instead of that. I don't have pictures of how bad the seat where the key sits was beat up inside the crankshaft. But I can assure you it was considerable damage. To the point where I had to think outside the box a little bit and maybe do something that somebody else might not do in order to make it a proper running machine again that wasn't on the verge of tearing itself apart. So my point here would be this, and truthfully it has nothing to do with the automotive world. It has to do with what we're watching unfold before our very eyes. Most people have the right information. Most people have been exposed to what they need to be exposed to understand what's going on. The problem is they have preconceived notions about some of the information that's out there, and it's skewing their diagnosis of the problem. And that's why, not unlike I have done to quite a few customers, if you're going to drive it around like that, I'm going to tell you at least wise what I think is going on and what's going to happen in the future. And hopefully, by the time or before it actually comes to an emergency breakdown and catastrophic failure, they see the light and realize what needs to be done and actually do it. In my estimation, that's why all this is happening. That's why you've been allowed to see all of the crazy stuff that goes on behind the scenes, so that you can understand the problem your role in it and how you can contribute to a solution. Sure, that sounds complicated, but it's really not. You want complicated, just sit there and watch. You want complicated, let it all unfold without you participating in a solution. That's when it gets complicated. And unfortunately, a sad reality of the world we live in today, very few people want to and or have the ability to think outside of the box to solve a problem. So they would be much better off preserving the box that they're in instead of letting someone else redesign it in what I have determined to be a very flawed manner. In other words, even if they accomplish what it is they're trying to do, it isn't going to work. They manage to bring us all down to the same level. Still isn't going to work. Because the policies and ideas are basically insane. The idea that you can reach racial equality by promoting one group over another in order to do it is freaking insane. The idea that you're giving someone a leg up, especially a child, by confusing their views on gender and getting them to enter into surgical procedures that can't be reversed before they've had a chance to mature into adulthood, that's insane. And those are the cornerstones of what they've been trying to push. So if you build your house on a bad foundation, collapse is inevitable. I used to be funny. I used to be humorous. There was a time when I was willing to make a joke out of anything. But unfortunately, those times are gone. Because the times we live in today are deadly serious. And the potential for what they call in my business catastrophic failure looms larger every day. But I'll give you credit though. Most of y'all are a lot braver than you think, because this is basically what you're doing. You are heading towards a sharp curve as fast as you can and not caring about the consequences. Well, what happens if you don't have the skills to handle the corner? What happens when something you weren't counting on or didn't see coming jumps out in front of you? But then again, like I have said on more than one occasion, there's a very fine line between tough and stupid. Most people out in the world don't know what a defensive perimeter is. no less how to set one up and defend it. Most people don't understand that going hungry is a skill. And you have to work on it in order to accomplish it. I didn't make the rules of this game. I don't even have a say in how it runs or unfolds. But I see it for what it is. And I see where it's going. So I would have this one message. I don't know what it is you might be doing to try and preserve your little corner of the world. All I know for certain is you really ought to be doing something. Because there was a time, but it's long past. Because this shit ain't funny no more. Not in the least. And if we continue heading down the path we're on, there's only one place it can lead. And that's catastrophic failure. So you want to know if you might be shadow banned from somebody's comment section. It gets a little bit easier to tell on a regular basis nowadays. If you're receiving requests from the channel creator to contact them on WhatsApp, and there's no other interaction with that post besides that, no likes, no hearts, no other replies, more than likely you've been shadow banned from commenting on that creator's channel. And the sad reality is, or the logical conclusion is after that, is that YouTube is allowing access to scammers to shadow ban channels to victimize people on the right. I've said it before, and I'll be more than happy to demonstrate it for you. Logistics is not these people's strong point. And that's another indicator that where they're trying to take us can only lead to catastrophic failure.